welcome, welcome. It's Saturday, and Saturday, as you know, this time is always the time for the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. My name is Beatrice Achaleke. I am your host. What is the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass? Well, if you're here for the first time, this is the place where we collect, document, and share African inspirational stories. This is the place where you meet my master teachers that I have personally handpicked. And these are men and women, brothers and sisters who have journeyed through life, who have learned their lessons, who have created tools and tips that they would like to share with you to help you better navigate your own life, no matter what. You know, I always say life is a story, and some stories are life transformational. And this is the place where we tell life transformational African stories. So we are broadcasting live, we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. My guest, my master teacher for today, and we are taking your comments, your contributions, your questions on YouTube. So if you're on Facebook and you feel like you want to contribute, please switch to YouTube and join us there with your conversation. If you want to stay on Facebook, it's fine. So that said, I wish and hope that you and your family, you and your loved ones continue to keep safe through this pandemic. So much is happening out there. And I wish that you all are keeping well and safe. That said, you are in the open masterclass, the School of Life masterclass from GloBUNTU Books. And I am Beatrice Achaleke, the serial author of the Africa for Smart Kids book series and publisher of GloBUNTU Books. Okay, and I guess you're curious to know who my master teacher for today is. Without any further ado, I'm going to go get our sister master teacher right on screen with me. And we will get started with our masterclass. Good afternoon, my sister Audrey. How are you doing today?
I am blessed and beautiful. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for having me.
Indeed, you're beautiful. You look like my princess.
Thank you very much. So are you.
So welcome to the masterclass. You are our master teacher for today. And as we always say, this masterclass comes in 4 chapters. In chapter 1, we get to know you and we get to know that defining story that changed the course of your life forever. And in chapter 2, we're looking for the 5 key lessons that you have learned. You can share more, but we're looking for at least 5 lessons that you've learned that, you say, with these lessons, this is what makes me. These are the lessons that I've learned that really help me navigate through life. In chapter 3, we're looking at your next chapter. We're asking for your next chapter. What are you up to? What is going up? What is going down? What is going straight? Where are you going to? And in chapter 4, which is the final chapter, we're wrapping it up together. And we do that in the form of a series of questions that you just have to give me answers. You answer very authentically, naturally, and as spontaneously as possible. The GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass is the place where we learn why having fun. So let's go have fun, sister. Will you kindly introduce yourself? Who are you? Who is Audrey Mhlanga?
Thank you so much once again for having me, Sis B. That's how I address you. And I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Audrey Mhlanga, a Zimbabwean born and bred to a Tsonga dad and a Malawian mom. So I come from a very multi or intercultural family background. I am a Christian, born again. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. I love serving. That's one of the things I would say are about me, like people or a cause. I'm very compassionate. But I'm also very passionate as a person. For those who do know me, I'm passionate about those things. So I'm passionate about people and I'm passionate about the causes that I believe in. And I really distaste injustice. And I feel like people think an injustice is the obvious things. For me, it's really more about the underlying injustices that then, cause, ripple effects or undercurrents where people are affected by those injustices, then obviously, like, I'm somebody who enjoys travel. I love Africa. I think Africa is a beautiful place, and I like music, I like reading, and I like food.
You and I must cook once together, right?
Yes.
So before we get into the story, before we get into your story, let me ask you, how are you faring through the pandemic? And with that question, I want to hear the one positive thing that you've learned about yourself during the pandemic that you did not know before.
Well, in all honesty, if I'm being honest, the pandemic has, of course, has been hard for different people. But one of the things for me is just to take care. Self-care is very important, and to check your pulse mentally, where you're at all the time. So that's one of the very most important things that I found out, that people actually have a lot of things that are going on mentally that sometimes they don't necessarily pay attention to, because we're busy with life. And during the pandemic, I think when things slow down and you got time to be in your thoughts, I think that's one of the things I learned about myself. So self-care is important. Love yourself, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. What I learned maybe as well is that, I'm part of a village. And I loved that. It goes back to the saying that says it takes a village to raise a child, the African, famous saying. And I really learned that I am part of a village, and my village was there for me, and I was there for my village. And those are the things that I really found, very comforting and profound during this pandemic.
Nice, beautiful. It just reminds me that when you say you are proudly an African woman, the value of belonging to a village and taking care of your village and having the village have your back is that notion. It resonates with me very much. So
Absolutely.
if you're joining us from wherever you're joining us, we welcome you. You are in the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. Our master teacher for today is my sister, my sister Mimi, Audrey Mhlanga. She confuses me with all the names on the screen in the studio, but that's what it is. I love your names, and I love having you today as our master teacher. Again, please use the comment box on the channel that you're joining the class in. If it's an open class, please, you can participate by just putting in comments. If you like what we're doing here, make sure that you like and share the masterclass, get more people to join in. This masterclass is really a masterclass for families, because some of the things that you're not able to talk to your kids about, you can find aunties and uncles here that are addressing those things. So we are very, very proud to say that we offer that kind of a masterclass that goes beyond generations. It goes beyond ethnicity. It's an open class where you can learn a whole lot of things and meet our master teachers. So that said, let's go straight into the story. I am looking for that God-defining moment that changed the course of your life forever, sister, whether it was in your childhood, during your education, whether in your profession, wherever it is, that God-defining moment that changed the course of your life forever. Will you mind sharing that with us now?
Oh, okay. This is a tough one. I feel like there's been different phases in my life. But I will speak obviously of something that has stuck with me over the past, the most recent, obviously. When I say recent, I mean the one that recently changed the course of my life to where I am today. I experienced some trauma that happened in my life some years ago, about 7 or so years ago. And again, I'll go back to what I was talking about about the pandemic, and just not, I was on the brink of, like, I was feeling very suicidal. I was feeling very like, I don't want to live anymore. Like a lot of things that happened to me inside my head, that is. But interestingly enough, during that time, I I just had to carry on. Like a lot of people have an expectancy, especially, and I really have to be careful with how I word this. People have an expectancy with, especially with African women, where we expect to just carry that burden, and carry that. Sometimes we're tired and we just don't want to put it down. So it's whether it's carrying our families, whether it's carrying our children, whether it's carrying our jobs, whether it's carrying our households, whatever it is. And I felt that that was what is expected of me. So I had to just carry on until literally my body shut down. Like I collapsed, my body shut down. And that's when I realized that there was, a fundamental problem that had to be addressed. Having said that, that was, I think, the most defining and, the realization that I needed to change how I think and how I do things and how I receive things and how I deal with matters. So as I said earlier, I am a Christian. So obviously my first go-to was, God and prayer and things like that. But I also want to just talk again about the fact that, I'll speak about this quite a lot, about a village. People don't understand the importance of having a solid tribe, And for me, it was also my tribe, the people that were around me, that supported me during this time, and that spoke into my life, and that made me realize that I'm worthy, that I'm loved, and that I'm more than enough. And this is what I now then became very passionate about going forward, just so that I could also tell my story to other people, that even if you go through this, you're not the sum total of your trauma or your mistakes or your bad decisions. You are more than that. And your tribe should assist you in realizing that, and also your faith, whichever faith it may be, and or whatever it is that you believe in. That's what it should actually, in essence, teach you, that you're not the sum total of the things that happen to you.
Listening to this is always the surprise in this master classes, because I never ask what the story is. I never know. It always comes as a surprise. And as you're speaking, I'm saying, and I'd sit here and I think like I know my sister, and you don't know what is going on with her, and we just take ourselves sometimes for granted, right? We take the smile on the face for granted, and we don't know what is behind the smile. We don't know what happens when you return to the room, when you're all alone in your room, when the lights are shut and you're alone in your room, what goes on in your mind. And I think that's why probably you said during the pandemic, it's so important that we check on one another, that we know that we belong to a village, and that we know that we're supported by our village. But it also means that we recognize that village, that we let the village know that we are in the village, and that being in the village comes with giving and taking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I am glad that you turn it around. I'm glad that you turn it around, and I celebrate you for saying that. That's a moment of vulnerability that quite a lot of people fear to share, because they think that it may end them some judgment. And I always say people always judge. There's some people out there, if you don't put it out, they don't have anything to say. So when some people wait until a story is put out, and if it is just you saying, "Okay, I'm glad that I inspire you, that I gave you something to talk about," that is already fine. And I think someone somewhere listens to you and says, Audrey said this, and that gave me the permission to be able to be vulnerable as well, and just use that to inspire someone. So I celebrate you for sharing that.
Thank you very much.
So if there's something else that you would like to add to wrap up this chapter, we will do that right now, wrap it up so that we can then move to the next chapter, which is going to be looking for your 5 key lessons learned. And I'm so looking forward to that.
Not really. I just think obviously the last thing that I could really add on, I think is something you touched on, where you said we need to create spaces where we give each other permission to be, in a moment of, if it's a, you're going through something, we need to allow people to go through that thing without any judgment. And that's where the village part comes in. Know your village, select your village well, and go through whatever you're going through, but knowing that the people will always love you no matter what. And that's, for me, one of the most important things. Like, people who know me always say, oh, you and your sisters are very close. I'll use them as an example, because my sisters are really my village. I've got amazing friends. I've got the most amazing friends. They give me spaces where I can be my authentic self. They allow me to speak whatever it is that I speak, and I never feel judgment. And when I leave with something, like whether it's emotionally, spiritually, mentally, I leave, like something being added onto me. And that's where I'm talking about the village part. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. Have your village, know your village. And it doesn't necessarily mean sometimes it is your family. This is another thing that we as African people sometimes are just told, your family is your village. No, your village can be your neighbor, it can be your friend at work, it can be just a friend that you met in your walk of life. It can be anybody, it can be your partner. Whatever it is, your husband, your wife, your village is anyone who stands by you and basically creates a safe space for you to be your authentic self.
I like that expansion. And I think the notion of the core family, the family being just your biological family, being your bloodline, is a foreign concept. It's a foreign concept. And I know growing up in the village in Cameroon that I had so many moms. Let me just add this before we go. When I traveled with my kids were born in Austria. I traveled with them to Cameroon, and I'm telling them, when we get to the village, you're going to see all my moms. And those kids, they're thinking like, is she all right in her head? What is she talking about? Her mom is already dead. And here we go. We arrived to my village, and all the women in the village, they come running. They're saying, oh, our European kids are here. Our white kids are here. So that was the first shock for my kids. And I am running towards them, and I'm like happy. Oh, yeah, they're welcoming us. And my kids, they turn around and said, Mom, this is Wales. They don't even know us. How would they say that they're children? I said, but I spoke to you. I explained to you. You said, no, Mom, this is not right. You are our mom.
and this is, it's such a, it really is a true story. What you're saying, I 100% believe it, because I see it with modern day children, where back in the day, I remember even us growing up, I could be doing something and a random woman or somebody that knew my parents could give me a hiding. Like, and if you got home and then you said, Mrs. So-and-so gave me a hiding, my mom would also give me a hiding because I got a hiding from Mrs. So-and-so. We grew up in such a very close-knit community. And when I say close-knit, I mean we had so many moms, so many aunties. We were accountable to a lot of people, but not only accountable, those people genuinely loved us. No one went to bed hungry, no one was at a disadvantage. And I think that is one of the things that we have lost as a people, because of, we've got now this new sense of being very, individualistic, which is not a good thing. It's not, I feel people feel like they need to hide themselves and be individuals. And obviously there's social media. So I can be on my laptop, on my phone, and that will be my safe space, because I feel like the world will not accept me or the world will judge me. But we could be counseled, we could be loved, we could be smacked, we could be fed at other people's houses. My mom used to say, as soon as we got home from playing when we were younger, she would say, I hope you guys ate when you were at Auntie so-and-so's house, because I didn't cook, And that's how it was. And people would cook assuming that the kids that are playing with my kids are going to eat. Nowadays, there's just so much sensitivity around everything, and it's a lot of things have changed. So it is quite sad to see that. But I think we're going to take a new turn,
Mm-hmm. I want to apologize for the quality of the video. We are having a network problem. So every now and then, either me or my master teacher is frozen. So if you're watching, please bear with us for that. And we do see you on Facebook. We see you on YouTube. We see your thumbs up and your heart. We appreciate that. Please use the comment box to join the class. Give us your notion of family. And you are African watching this. What's your notion of family? what have you gone to during this pandemic? What is on your mind? What has changed your life forever? What is that moment in your life? So feel free to join the class and use the comment box. We are in the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass, and this is episode 17. And if you're here for the first time, make sure that you check the other episodes on our YouTube channel, the online of there for you, so that you don't miss a single story. That said, I see Audrey is coming and going. Let me see, Audrey, can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up.
I can hear you. It is breaking a little bit, but I can hear you.
You can hear me. You can hear me, okay. And if those of you who are on live stream, please use the comment box to tell us like. Check for us and give us just give us a quick message to whether you hear us properly, whether the images are clear and the tone is the sound is also clear. Thank you very much for anyone who volunteered to do that. That said, Audrey, before we get into the, I just wanted to wrap this up by saying we have that saying in Africa that says it takes the village to raise a child, right? So I think Cameron would say that a child is the child of a mom as long as it is in her womb. The moment that child is born and comes to this earth, you become the child of the whole village. You become the child of the nation and the child of the world. So that said, I want us to wrap up this chapter, and we wrap that up with me using the upcoming GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclasses, the School of Life Masterclasses that are lined up for you. Some of the classes are for free. I noticed that people are going through a whole lot during this pandemic, and that people need a lot of affirmations. Because we're going towards the end of the year, I have put together a series of masterclasses that will really help you declutter, detox yourself, and let go of the things that are no longer serving you, so that you can move easily into an affirmative 2022. So you want to look out for these master classes, and just let me share with you. So those were the upcoming GloBUNTU masterclasses. There are many ways that you can use to detox yourself. You can use it in the form, you can use writing as a form of detox. You can come to the masterclasses. We did one yesterday, how to affirm yourself out of COVID-19. And everyone was so happy with the one activity that I did with them. So, and these masterclasses are like your perfect Christmas gift. You have someone that you want to give it, offer a present to. I think these masterclasses will really help people to declutter their lives and release all the experiences that we have accumulated during this pandemic and help us move into a more positive 2020. This is where you reset and reboot yourself for that new year. So thank you, my master teacher, for allowing me to step out. Let's come back to the class. Can you hear me, Audrey?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you still look like frozen. You can hear me, then we'll carry on. We are moving on to chapter 2 of this masterclass, and I would love to invite you to share the 5 key lessons that you've learned so far in your life. Share those 5 key lessons with us. Wow. So the mic is yours.
Okay. Can you hear me okay, first of all?
I can hear you. And when you share the first 2, I'm probably going to interrupt you and just sum them together, and then we move to the next lessons. So
Okay.
right now,
all right,
the stage is yours.
So the 5 key lessons I've learned so far is, people like to say, you only live once. No, you only die once. You live every day, but you die once. So that's the first thing that I've learned, and that's something that I'm living by at the moment. The second thing is do it, just like do that thing that you want to do, which means travel, eat the cake, wear the outfit, go to the, place where you want to visit, whatever it is that you want to do, just do it. When we're younger, I feel like, we're very cautious, but for me, I'm like, spend that money that you want to, obviously wisely, but, do the things that you want to do. So that's number 2. Number 3, I would say, people will always judge.
Wait 1 moment, sister. You did, so the network was a little bit troublesome. I heard you broken. But the first one, I love that you say something different. We only die once. So if you know you die once, what does that mean for you if you're planning your life? I say that when we are born, the next logical thing that will happen is that we die. So those are the 2 most logical, most factual things in the world. If you're born, you die. So until your time comes, when you're thinking and gravitating towards that time, gravitating towards the time that you pass on, whether you like it or not. If you have that in mind, you probably will plan your life more purposefully. You will be more mindful, and you do the things that bring you joy and the things that add value in someone else's life. I hope I got it right there. And then number two, I couldn't really get number 2 because you were breaking. So do you want to repeat the lesson 2 for me, please?
Yeah, lesson 2 for me was do it. Like, just do it. Eat the cake, wear the dress, travel, spend that money, like, do the things that you want to do. Like, just don't overthink things. Do the things that you really want to do, of all the things in life, obviously, of all the saddest things that have ever been said in life is, it could have been, people always live a life of regret later on. You rather do it and, you know what I mean? Obviously, everything is consequences. So there's wisdom that has to be applied. But for me, right now, where I'm at, I say to people, do it. Like, people always say, oh, no, I don't know if I should travel. I don't know if I should do this. And I'm always like, why not? Do it. Do it. Absolutely do it. I don't know if I should date this person. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I get that message. Just do it. It means there's never a better time. There's never a better time. Tomorrow you'll be happy that you started today, even if you started imperfectly. And some people wait for perfection to start doing things. You wait for that divorce, you wait for that loss so that you can get into that dress. Before, you wait for all kinds of things to happen that may never really happen. And you forget that you die once and you waste time. Mandela once said that time is our most limited resource and that we must utilize it wisely. And I think when you become aware of the fact that you die once, then you can come once, cross the line, you can come back, then you know that why you're on this side. You should do the things that you're passionate about, and the things that you know that add value to your life and make you happy. I guess I get you right. Oh, the network is acting again, and I see Audrey is frozen. We will just carry on with the class until she's able to. Audrey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. And on my side, it appears as if the network issues coming from that end. I'm not sure because it's breaking.
So can you please carry on with your lesson 3 and lesson 4, please?
I beg your pardon?
Can you just carry on with your lesson 3 and lesson 4?
Oh, sure. Okay, so lesson 3, I will say people will always talk, people will always judge, no matter what. Don't take it personally, stay in your lane, mind your own business, and live your life. You know, I think it's really more tied to this, to the, the second one where I say do it. I think people are scared of judgment. People are scared of what will people say. People are scared of what if it doesn't work out? What if I take the job and or if I leave the job and it doesn't work out? What if I start the business and it fails? And all sorts of things. People are very, we live in a world where we are so filled with fear that we operate really, it's like a river where people just test the depth of the water with their toes. They don't really want to wade the waters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying live your life, live your best life. So that's the second, that's the third one. The fourth one I would say is speak up, talk, ask for help, reach out to people. People are more understanding than you think. People always feel maybe, like they're unsure because of experiences or because of whatever the case may be. But my advice or my thing is that I've learned to speak up. If I don't like something, I speak up. If I like something, I speak up. If I need help, I speak up. If I, if I don't like the way things are going, or if I don't understand something, speak up, talk, like use your words. People tend to process things inside their heads and they don't speak up. And then one day a person just has a blowout or, yeah. So speak up. Not sure of something, speak up. Yeah.
I get you. So the third one is people will always talk. Don't let that stop you from doing things that you want to do. Don't let the fear of being judged or people talking about you, people misunderstanding you, stop you from being who you want to be. So I love that lesson. And I like that all the lessons, they're like tied together. They're tied together. And the third one is speak up. Whether people judge you or not, speak up, because not speaking up means that you stop a whole lot of things. And I know quite a lot of people get cancer. They suffer from psychosomatic how do you call it, symptoms or illnesses just because they carry so much in, they internalize so much that actually needs to be released. And I think that takes me to mentioning the GloBUNTU School of Life, the master classes, the affirmation master classes that are really created to help you let go, to help you release, to go in your subconscious mind and find out those imagery, those experiences and those moments you have kind of internalized in you that are pulling down and making you sick, so that you can release them and then move on with your life. It means speaking up, you speak up because you're speaking for the love of you. Don't let the fear of offending stop you from, offend yourself by keeping stuff in you that will make you sick. Does that go in line with what you're saying with your lesson? Really? Beautiful. The network is still acting. I don't know how it is on your side. It is on my side, it's coming and going. So I hope that those who are joining us on live stream, that they have a better stream. If not, we apologize for the bad quality, it has to do with network. And because no interruption ever interrupts the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass, we are going on. So, sister, what do you, let's say, your lesson number 5 that you learn throughout as you journey through life?
To be kind, not only to others, but to yourself.
Be accountable to yourself, you say?
To be kind, not only to others, but yes, but not only to others, but to yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. I think I like that. You want to expand a little bit on that?
Mm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, then do you want to expand on be kind to yourself, not only to others? Do you want to expand on that, please? I think I like that very much.
Yeah, well, the thing I feel is we are our worst enemies because obviously the most place that we live in is our minds. So, like everything that I've said, how it's linked is, we start to overthink things and process things in a certain type of way. And we start to judge ourselves. We tend to judge ourselves more harshly than what we would with other people. So we make a mistake and we judge ourselves. We overthink about doing something or going something or trying to achieve something, even applying for a job or leaving a job. And we think, oh, I'm not good enough for that position. And of course, obviously, there are also external influences where people make you feel like you're inadequate, right? But I think also it's very important, now that you mentioned about the affirmations that you have, that for me, I also have affirmations. I have affirmations as well that I stuck up on my mirror. And every morning as I'm putting on my makeup and I'm going to work and whatever it is and I'm getting dressed, I always tell myself I'm worthy and, that I can do it. And, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and that I live in abundance, and that anything that comes my way, I'm able to conquer. Affirmations are very important. People just don't understand it because we have lived with things have been thrown at us for so long. And the things that tend to stick are the things that are negative, because they've been in abundance. So people will say to you, when you're young, a lot of people tend to say no, and they tend to say, you can't do this. So they tell you things you can't do and places you can't go. And, they tend to give you a box in which to operate in. And because of that, you then begin to believe that you can only operate in a certain area. And so that is one of the things where I'm saying, be kind to yourself. Be kind, not only to others. Yes, it's good to be kind to others, but you can't give what you don't have. If you are a person who's bitter and angry and malicious and whatnot, you can't give that to others. So in order for you to give it to others, you have to have it within yourself, and that people can, first fill up your cup. That's what I always say. People who take from you must only be drinking from the excess, which means the stuff that is spilling over. Fill up your cup with kindness, with love, with gratitude, with, patience, whatever it is, the good things. Fill up your cup, and whatever that is, that you are giving to other people, make sure it's excess, but give it to yourself first.
I get you. And I'm happy that you expanded on that, because sometimes when you have, like you said at the beginning, when there's so much expectation projected on you, when you are a parent, for example, you are an auntie, and you think that everyone is looking up to you. And you are in a family, in a big family, in the village that we're talking about. So much seems to be projected at you, and sometimes you forget that if you don't take care of yourself and something happens, you can't provide for those people. And so I'm very glad that you talk about that. Let me share with you what my son once told me. When I was in Austria, when my business was running down, I really had a challenging time. But I was always out there. Someone always wanted something from me. People much if you come speak the word and no one is paying you. One day my son, he was 11, and he said to me, "Mom, sit down." I was about jumping out to another event, so he's down. And I was like, okay, he never spoke to me in this. So what is up? So he says, you know what? You can keep on going to all those places, go to all the places where you called upon, because people want to take advantage of you. And when you die, when you continue to do that and you have a heart attack and you die, you know what will happen? They will all come to the graveyard and say goodbye to you. And to their families. The greatest losers, me and my sister, because our mom will be gone forever. And that speech changed the way I do things completely. And he was just 11. So when he reminds you that way and you see the picture clearly, everyone else, they're all in the graveyard. You know, they come, they take leave of you, they go eat, and then they go to their families. And then there's 2 kids. So each time when I wanted to do something, I look at these 2 kids sitting there because I'm gone. And I'll think twice before I do. So and I'll be kind to myself and to my kids. So thank you for that reminder. I can feel it very much. That's why I share that experience. So kids even understand that we have to put ourselves first.
Yeah, no, I really, I hear you, and yeah, that's very interesting as well. I'm listening to that and I'm like, wow, he was a very wise young man.
Yeah. So we are wrapping up the chapter for your 5 lessons learned. And the first one is you must always remember that you only die once. And 2 is just do it. Don't wait for anything. Don't wait for anyone. Don't wait for whatever. Just go ahead and do whatever it is that you want to do. Number 3 is people will always talk, so let them talk and do what you want to do or be who you want to be. Number 4, you said speak up. And if you need help, ask for help. Don't be hesitant. If there's anything you need, just go ahead and say it and don't carry it in you. And number 5, you say be kind to others, but to yourself. I get them all right, and we want to wrap them all down before we close this chapter.
No, you got them all.
Great. So thank you. I see someone will get a comment. Oh, Angie is online. Yes, just do it. Great nuggets. Angie will see you commenting. Angie is one of our master teachers as well, so she knows what she's talking about. And she's one of the track sisters of our today's master teacher. Thank you. See, the tribe got her back. They're here for her. So
my tribe.
See what she was saying.
My tribe doesn't play.
So the network is troubleshooting. You're freezing. I don't know that my image is freezing on the side as well. Otherwise, we carry on to the next chapter, and the next chapter is about your next chapter. Sister, what are you up to? What is your next chapter? What can we expect from you?
Wow.
Next.
I'm very excited. So for a while now, I've been wanting to create a platform where we create conversations as Africans, especially women, where we need to change the narrative about certain things. I just want to go back a little bit. To something that I mentioned earlier, when I was talking about when people are younger and how we are boxed in and we are told what we cannot do and what we can do, we are told to color in only within a certain area, and we can't color outside the lines, where we can go, who and how we can love, how far we can stray from a man-made boundary. So I turned 40, recently. And one of the things that I've become very determined about is to take back, or to snatch, not to take back, to snatch back, to snatch back my life. And when I say my life, I'm not really necessarily saying that my life was taken away or anything like that. I'm talking about to do the things that make me happy, the things that set my soul on fire. So
Audrey, please carry on talking. I want to reboot my network. I don't know why it's troubleshooting here. Just carry on talking. I will reboot and get it. As long as you still keep on talking, I'll be right
Okay.
back.
All right, not a problem. So one of the things, as I was saying, is to do the things that set your soul on fire, right? We are the CEOs of our lives. We all must understand this, which means we have the ability and the power to promote, to demote, to terminate people and things that don't serve our existence. It's a shading of some sort that we have to do. And it's unfortunate for a lot of people that we learn this lesson when we are much older, you know. But I believe a lesson learned at any stage in your life is worth, being implemented, and, because you don't know how much time you have. So my chapter is about about accomplishing certain things, and the one thing that I really and I've spoken to Sisbi from GloBUNTU, is something that we're going to be doing is a platform where we are opening up conversations, and we want to hear from different people, but we want to talk our own stories. Change the narrative. People have always been telling us what to say, how to say it, what to wear, how to wear it, that we should look this certain type of way. That's the kind of world that we're now living in anyway. And because of that, I feel that, people are always feeling under pressure to be something that they're not. So we want to, my next chapter will be like, I really want to open up a space, a safe space where people can talk about their stories, and there is no judgment, there's no shame, and there's no outside influence. If you decide that this is, who you are, and then this is how you want to live your life, then you should, you should feel safe enough to do that. And the theme, or the underlying theme, will be about us being just Africans. As Africans, I feel like so much has been taken away from us. As Africans, I feel like so much has just been put or ingrained inside of us, which we just now, muddled, or we're a mixture of things. And sometimes we tend to be a little bit unsure of who we are. We tend to be, wishy-washy. We tend to be this and that. Tomorrow we this, today we that. We're not very certain. We need to become proud of who we are, certain of who we are, and we need to be able to pass that on to the upcoming generations. There is a saying that says, until the lion learns to ride, the story will always glorify the hunter. And that is the truth. And my thing that I'm really, really passionate about is creating lions and lionesses that are going to now learn how to write their own stories. That's what it is. We need to share our stories and be able to speak, but speak our stories and our truth in a way where we're not being influenced by other people. Like, I'll give you an example, is a lot of the times, people will tend to judge you because of maybe how you dress. Yeah? They'll be like, why don't you wear this and why don't you wear that? Or why don't you look like this? Or if you're a lady, they'll say, why don't you put on makeup? Or why don't you, braid your hair? Or why don't you relax your hair? Whatever it is that they say. This is not a thought that just came to this person. They were sleeping and they thought of it. No. The reason why people want you to be like that is so that they can feel comfortable. And we tend to then over-explain ourselves to people. I recently had a very interesting conversation, with someone who was listening to me while I was speaking about someone. And afterwards, he said to me, Why were you over explaining to that person when they asked you this? It was almost like I was trying to justify something that he was like, when the person asked you, you could have just said yes or no, and that would have been sufficient. But I felt like I had to explain why I do things this way or why I don't do things this way. And that's where I think that's what it is that I'm really excited about. I'm very excited about this new platform that we're going to be creating that is going to open up spaces for people to have these conversations, talk about things. And, interestingly enough, when you're in a group of people and you talk about these things, a lot of people think about them, but people just like, oh, well, that's the way of the world. I can't change it. But the change has to start with the mind. We have to change how we think. We have to change. There's a lot of unlearning that we have to do. There's a lot of, shedding that we have to do, getting rid of things that don't serve us, getting rid of people that don't serve us. So that is one of the most important things that has to happen before people can even begin to tell their stories. People are not even sure, in my opinion. People are not even very sure of who they are anymore, which is kind of sad. People are whatever people want them to be. A friend of mine went for a job interview, and she sent me a message, and she was asking me some questions recently, not a month or so ago. And she said to me, I don't know if I can do this job. And I said, you can. And then she said to me, I said to her, no, definitely you can do it. She's like, yeah, it's not really something I did. I said, it doesn't matter. And I remember saying to her, if you're a dancing monkey, if they want you to be a dancing monkey and they want you to do, to do, to jump through, whoops of fire or whatever it is, you can do it. That's what you are for that minute, And later on, I actually thought, oh, well, I did give her the advice. She got the job because, she was like, yes, I can do it. But actually, technically, we're living in a world where the people that have got the power are the ones who are dictating how we should behave. It's just like going into a workspace and they have a dress code, right? The dress code is not for the people. The dress code is for me, the person who's running the company, so I feel comfortable. It's not so that you feel comfortable. It's not so that because it's not like they sit around and they have a discussion and they say to everyone, are you guys happy with this? You understand what I'm saying? I remember back when I worked, in Zim, when I worked in the bank, and we had a dress code which was very, very strict about, it was, a conservative, so to speak. By the way, things like you couldn't wear headgears and you couldn't have, certain things. You couldn't get a job long ago if you had dreadlocks. Just ridiculous things that, end up taking away the essence of who people are. You can't marry somebody from another race. You can't marry somebody younger. You can't marry somebody from another culture. Like, there's just so many you can'ts. And that's what I would like to debunk. I would like to open up the conversations with people to have those conversations and say, why do we think? Who told us that we cannot do these things? And why shouldn't we? So we must become the lions and begin to write the stories that glorify our own lives.
And that is the essence of GloBUNTU Books. That said, I want to thank you for having had my back. You were my village. My network was acting, I was coming and going. I had to switch from one network to the other. And I hope that this one takes us to the end. So thank you so much for having my back, for being my village.
No problem.
And I do agree that those stories need to be debunked, that they need to be told. So that we don't keep on repeating things that are senseless, and of which we don't even know the origin, and which are stopping us from stepping into our greatness, right? Mm-hmm. So, at GloBUNTU Books, we pride ourselves with collecting and documenting stories, not just for now, but for the future, and telling those untold stories. So this is the perfect platform for you to launch those stories, and I can't wait to have another line of masterclass hosted by you. And, just take it away, take it and run away, and let's tell all the stories, because it is our responsibility. So we have a commitment that we just made now to the people who are listening to us, that we're going to pull that out. So, so you must just stay on after this class so that we go backstage and we put a plan together and say when we're starting. Okay, nice. I like this. I like girls who take action. So that's it. That was rounding up the chapter. What is your next chapter? That was your next chapter. So if someone listens to you and say, I want to follow up those stories, I want to know more about Audrey, I want to know about her catering company, I want to know the many hats that she wears, where can someone find you?
So obviously on Facebook, I'm Mimi Lumia, which basically means, Mimi Light, which is the events management hat that I wear. We were running some events for the longest time. We're doing, events management for different entities around Africa. You can find me on Instagram as Mamina Light, and you can find me on LinkedIn as Audrey Mhlanga. But we will be opening a new platform, like I'm saying, for the new chapter, where it's going to blow up. It's going to be amazing. And I think it's going to be an amazing new opportunity in terms of where we're going, the direction that we're taking with this new project that we are doing with USSB.
I see the light in your eyes, and I like what I see, and I like
very
the sound.
very passionate about it.
Nice. So talking about that, before we get into the next, before we proceed to the last chapter of the masterclass, I want to share something again, if you allowed me, just very quickly. At GloBUNTU Books, we are doing a lot of masterclasses. My mission or my passion lies in using the tools that I have developed over the years. Let me try to see if I can bring this up. I thought that I uploaded this, but I'll go to my desktop and just pick up that quick video and share about the affirmations that I have created, the ebooks, the books that will really help people to do their own work, do the inner work. We're moving towards the end of the year, and there is no perfect time as now to declutter your life, declutter your life, and to get tools that will help you to do that work. So I have a series of ebooks, workbooks set for you, so that you don't just listen and you're wowed, but that you get tools and tips that allow you to do your own work, whether you're talking about your happiness, whether you're talking about affirming yourself, whether you're going through grief or whatever it is. You see, one of the master classes that is so dear to my heart is called it's affirmative grieving. We all have lost something during this pandemic, whether it's human life or material or whatever it is, and we are grieving. And in this master classes, with all these ebooks, e-workbooks, you learn how to turn your pain into your power, how to turn your pain into your purpose, and your grief into your gain. So this is what all of this is about. And I want to give people tools that I've used to coach other people, so that you don't stand alone, so that you don't wonder where to start. So all these tools are available at GloBUNTU Books. So if you are out there and you need tools, you join the masterclass, or you get the tools and you can work by yourself. I really wish to help you to carry on. So I just want to So those were just some of the supportive books that I have written on affirmations, from which all the programs come from. There's another class coming up. It's a virtual retreat called the Happiness Agenda. It's something that I've been working on for quite a long time. So we're taking 21 days just for your happiness. It's from the 1st to the 21st of October. Every day we're taking 35 minutes to focus on dismantling those things that stop you from being happy. So we're working with different sets of fear. We're making sure that we identify them, we eliminate, declutter them, and give you affirmations that will allow you to say yes, to easily say yes to life, and to easily say yes to a positive lifestyle. So those are the programs that are coming up right now, and you can register for them already. So I just wanted to put that out. That said, a master teacher, if you have friends around you, these are some of the programs that maybe you want to get your friends to get into, or get them ebooks, workbooks, instead of a wine, instead of flour, chocolate at Christmas or birthdays. This is something, content and handbooks that really help someone to do their own transformational work, to go within and do your work. And it's a gift that stays forever. It stays forever. So that said, I want to bring you back to the masterclass. So that we can do the last chapter, except there is something that we want to add before we proceed to the last chapter.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, so the last chapter, I am going to be asking you a couple of questions, and all you have to do is just complete them for me as fun-filled, as authentic, as natural as possible. Are you ready, sister?
I'm ready.
Okay, question number 1, or statement number 1. I define myself as
a queen.
I like that. I like that. The queen. Simple. Take it or leave it.
That's it. I'm a queen. Sorry. If you don't like it,
sorry. What most people do not know about me is that
that I am a crybaby. Like, I will cry about anything. Most people just see me as a strong Black woman, but like, I literally cry about everything. Like, I'll cry about a movie. I'll cry about a puppy. I'll cry about an abandoned child. I'll cry about bad news about people killing each other. Like, I cry like I'm a crybaby.
Crying is actually not a sad thing like people think. It's a therapy. It's therapeutic when you can release that tension, that pain in you through those tears. It really helps. So I'm glad that you do that. It's a compliment. The one thing about myself that I am super proud of is
that I am adaptable. I am so proud of myself. I am a malleable person. I am a person. I feel like sometimes, like, I can describe myself almost like water. Like, I'm a person who can adjust to almost anything, I'm like, yes, of course, as long as it serves me, of course. But I'm a person that is very easily adaptable. I can be in a situation or in a group of people that I'm not accustomed to. I easily adapt. I can be eating things that that I've never eaten before, and I'll act like I ate it yesterday.
And you enjoy it. I get you. Yeah. In the face of unexpected adversary or challenges,
Sorry, say that again.
In the face of unexpected adversary or challenges,
I take a step back. I do not like to react. I'm not a reactor. I take a step back before. I like to think things through so that I can find a way of how to solve the problem.
Got you. Growing up, I always thought that.
I always thought that I would be an actress.
Okay. Are we not always acting in life? You carry different hats. Acting. You don't have to be on the screens. You don't have to be in Nollywood to be an actress, right? Got you. The riskiest thing that I ever did was
jump off a bridge. I don't like heights. So it was very fearful. I actually passed out when I did it, and it was not my finest moment. But I bungee jumped with my sister and I fainted. It was really
I will not even dare. You're courageous. Looking back today, I know that.
I know that I am enough and that I can do anything that I set my mind to.
Powerful. Sisterhood to me means.
Oh my goodness. Sisterhood to me means knowing anything that you know about the sisters, or them knowing something about me, but still loving them viciously, passionately, and, with everything that is inside of me. So sisterhood to me is adjusting your crown when your hands are too heavy for you to do it. It's also carrying the burden for you. It is sisterhood for me is just being that person who covers you in a time of for example, when people talk about somebody and you're not there, for me, that is, I'll be the person who will cut you off at the knees. That is sisterhood. Like, I mean, it might be correct information, but for me, sisterhood is covering each other. Sisterhood is loving that person despite and in spite of everything. That's what sisterhood is for me.
God. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. So being an entrepreneur to me means that. That's where I lost you.
Oh, being an entrepreneur means being able to adjust to anything. During this pandemic, obviously, like for example, we couldn't do events, and there were a lot of things that we, in terms of business that we just had. It's just be somebody who can adjust.
God,
Be somebody who's able to adjust, to be open. Don't be rigid. Don't be rigid. That's it.
got you. The one lesson I learned from my mom that I will never forget is
Go where you're loved.
simple and clear. The life lesson I learned from my dad is
Wow. My dad taught me, if I don't like where I am, I must move. I am not a tree.
oh wow, ooh, lucky you. The one thing that is never missing in my grocery bag is
Chocolate.
okay. If I were to turn back and advise the 18 years old me, that advice would be
Don't be too concerned about what people think.
nice.
Do things
I
for yourself.
okay. I describe myself as a proudly African woman
Because not because Africa, I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born inside of me. I'm everything African. I love I love being an African woman.
hear you. What I think the world can learn from Africa is
We're the real bosses.
come again.
We're the real bosses.
The real bosses. Got you. Okay. In 2030, I see myself.
In 2030, I see myself running mentorship program for young African people.
Nice. Being alive to me is?
Being alive to me is love.
Mm-hmm. If today was my last day, I would?
I would spend it with my family.
It's not going to be, you're still going to, it's not your last day. But I'd love to know what you would do if it were. If I was the president of the United States of Africa, I would?
I would get rid of borders.
Interesting. I want to be remembered as an African woman who?
Who taught who taught people about love, but not just love, but self-love as well. So not just to love other people, but to love yourselves as well. Self-love.
Lovely, lovely. So we are gradually coming to the end of the masterclass. Those of you who have joined out there, we see you, we acknowledge you, we celebrate you, we thank you for being part of this masterclass. It's been a bumpy one. It's been a bumpy masterclass because the network is not really behaving the way it should, but because we never skip a masterclass because of the network, we're still here. Happen
Yeah.
on Saturdays from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. It used to be every Saturday, but I'm doing it now every second Saturday. And we want to watch out for the GloBUNTU master classes that are coming up, the affirmation master classes, the grief master classes, the happiness agenda virtual retreats. You want to watch out for all of those and share with people around you that you love, because this is the time to put yourself first. This is the time to detox and to declutter. And we have a program and we have templates that will help you do just that. So I see my master teacher is back on screen, and I'm going to give you the microphone so that you can wrap up your session before I close it for today. So your last word, master teacher.
Thank you very much for having me, Mrs. B. My final words would be, wake up. And, on social media, people like to collect likes. Wake up and like yourself. And just remember, everybody else's like is extra. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. You surround yourself with the right people, where you can speak your truth and where you can be who you are. And love like this, like no other, like this will be your last day on earth. One of the things during this pandemic where people have lost loved ones suddenly is people wanted to do so much, wanted to accomplish so much, and they're not here today with us. And it's not just the pandemic, it's in life in general. We don't know how much time we have. Do not think that we have time because today you're 20 or today you're 30 and you think, oh no, I've got another 15 years. That's not how it works. God, remember, is the master plan of all things. So you live the best life every single day. Every single day. Live your best life. That would be my advice to anybody who is listening and would want to learn. And also, please do look out for our new project that we are going to be doing with GloBUNTU Books, which is regarding, a platform where it's going to be more interactive, and we're going to be speaking to different people from around Africa, and we're going to be hearing their stories and just engaging them on, us writing the stories so that we are not being spoon-fed stories or incidences where we were not present and we did not have any way or any facts written down. We are going to be writing of our own stories very soon, and I'm very excited about that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time. I know you had a very busy time last week. That's why we put your class this week. I'm happy that
Yeah.
you're here and your sound, and we had this master class. Thank you so much for being the master teacher. I will see you backstage, but before I come to you backstage, I have to wrap up the class. So again, that was episode 17 of the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass, as always on Saturdays and 7 p.m. until 6 p.m. Did I say 7 p.m.? 5 p.m. until 6 p.m. That is GMT plus 2. So if you want to join the master classes that are upcoming, not the School of Life masterclass, but the life transformational master classes, make sure that you follow the link that provided in this video. In this video, you'll find it on the description box as well. Go to our website and register for the classes or register someone. Up until then, I wish you that you and your loved ones continue to stay well and safe. And I look forward to having you in the next GloBUNTU Masterclass, be it the Transformational Life Masterclasses or the School of Life Masterclass. And yeah, tune in again next Saturday for another session of the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. My name is Beatrice Achaleke, and I am your host. And that said, I am out.